Canadian families are looking at higher food prices next year. That could mean almost $700, $695 in extra costs for the typical household or typical family of four. Sylvain Charlebois of Dalhousie University joins us now. Sylvain, why are food costs going up?
Well, there are actually three reasons: meat, bakery, and vegetables, and all three are going to be driving the food inflation rate higher for the next year, unfortunately. Yeah, that's basically it.
So production costs are going up in many areas. Tell us about that.
Yeah, the meat story is certainly related to COVID. We all know that our slaughtering capacity was compromised by COVID for a while, and there are backlogs also in the system, which is incurring more costs. Processors are actually have to pay more to do everything. In distribution, same thing. Very rarely you'll see the trifecta of meat being affected by food inflation in one given year, and that was the case in 2020. That will continue into 2021. So chicken, pork, and beef will increase in prices. The bakery story is somewhat related to COVID. I think we've all baked at home over the last 9-10 months. I don't know about you, Andrew, but we have. And so demand for flour is high, and wheat futures are way up. And so typically, it really will increase input costs for bakers, industrial bakers. And so that bakery section will become more expensive, unfortunately, for the next 12 months.
You have been critical of the power of the big food retailers in Canada. We obviously have a triumvirate of massive companies with a huge chunk of the food market. Are they... they're passing on these cost increases to consumers. Are they capitalizing as well on the extra demand for food that we eat at home because we can't go out to restaurants?
It remains unclear whether or not they're taking advantage, I guess, of the context. I haven't been critical of the power that grocers have. I've been critical of how they've been using the power within the supply chain. Essentially, there's been some supply chain bullying going on over the last decade or so, but it's gotten worse in recent months, and that's why the government of Canada is looking into the matter right now, because it has gone too far. Fees are unsustainable, which is why we're seeing this exodus of food processor leaving Canada right now.
Now, of course, high prices bring on more production. I was looking at a report by Capital Economics this morning. I think we have a chart, and they're saying, there has been a run up in food prices, but by the end of next year, it's likely to have moderated for some important foods anyway, notably soybeans.
Yeah, it is actually quite possible. Hopefully in 12 months we'll talk again and we'll have some better news for Canadians. In the meantime, though, there is this fiscal cliff we're all looking at right now. We are all talking about deficits and this huge debt that we're looking at the federal level, and even provincially there are several governments struggling financially. When you have several governments looking for more revenues, well, guess what's going to happen? We are likely to see more taxes. Taxes may go up, which could actually make that disposable income drop. So instead of spending, say, 10% of your budget on food, we may end up by the end of next year spending 11, 12, 13% on food, which is really going to put a lot of pressure on families.
Meat is always such a big part of the food budget. Do you think people are going to start cutting back on meat? People have different reasons, inhumane treatment of animals, or the climate. Do you think Canadian families will start eating less meat?
If you spook consumers, they'll start looking elsewhere. In 2014, because of beef prices going up, people actually start to look elsewhere, and they've looked at vegetable vegetable proteins. So products like Beyond Meat, Light Life, Impossible Foods, they do have a future because of what happened in recent years. The economics at the meat counter is really getting Canadians to look elsewhere. The interesting phenomena, Andrew, is that Canadians who still enjoy meat are starting to look at specialty meats like duck, bison, elk. All of these products are up in sales this year over the last 6 months. So probably a lot of Canadians are saying, well, if beef is too expensive, might as well buy something that I want to discover. I want to try something new.
That's interesting, yeah. Elk, because I don't think they have factory farms for elk yet. Anyway, Sylvain, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Take care.
Sylvain Charlebois, Senior Director of the Agri-Food Analytics Lab at Dalhousie University.